Hello and welcome back to the Do You podcast. And it's me again, your favorite immigrant. I'm back with some more wisdom for you. And today I want to talk about three mistakes that I really often see from people who are about to start on any journey, be it weight loss, be it a new business, anything that you can possibly think of. And the reason why I'm even talking about it today, it's because I had a client who asked me, do you think I'm going to have a lot of extra skin when I lose 60 pounds? And my answer to that client was probably yes. And a lot of times when you say things like that, or even you think about it, it starts to crush you. You start thinking about all of those negative things that may happen. But the reality is that we can't even think about it before we get there, right? You can't. Uh, you can't jump over the river without the bridge. So you can't think about those things. So the three mistakes that I very often see, specifically, I help women change their lifestyle. And as a result of that, we often experience weight loss. One of the mistakes that I see a lot is expectations. Our expectations are often very, very unreasonable. A lot of times we look up some information online or we talk to friends and we think to ourselves, okay, so if I, for example, start eating 1,200 calories, then I'm going to lose 2 pounds a week. And if I do that, then in 4 weeks, I'm going to lose 8 pounds. And in 40 weeks, I'm going to lose 80 pounds, which means in a year, I'm going to be down 100 pounds. When in math, it kind of makes sense. But the reality is it doesn't always work that way because things will happen and you're not going to be able to eat 1,200 calories per day every single day for a year. And by the way, you shouldn't do that to begin with. And if you want to know more about that, send me a question and we can talk about that separately. But the thing is that random things are going to happen. Your baby's going to get sick. There's going to be a birthday party. Global pandemic will happen, excuse me. So all of those things is that we have certain expectations for certain outcome. And when things get in the way and we realize that things are not going according to the plan, which the plan was purely our imagination in the first place, then we decide that, you know what, this is not working out. So I need to change something or I'm going to completely give up. And you don't need to do either of those things. It's just we need to understand that our expectations, we should not be ever attached to a specific outcome, and our expectations should be more our range versus a specific that one thing or that one number. So if you have flexible expectations, and in my coaching practice, we call it flexible structure, where you have certain boundaries, however, you can kind of like freely roam in the middle, leaning towards the higher end, then your journey is going to be a lot more enjoyable. Mistake number two I see is you hope too much. And so here's the thing is as humans, we need to have hope. And about 90% of people live their whole life based on hope. I hope this works out. I hope I don't get hungry tomorrow. I hope I can get enough sleep. I hope this pandemic is going to be over tomorrow. But the reality is that there is no such thing as hope. So does that sound a little dark? Maybe. However, I think it's a lot better to just be realistic versus creating these, again, imaginary scenarios in your head based on hope. I hope he calls me back. Why don't you just call him first? And then you're going to know for sure whether it's a yes or no. I hope I have a healthy lunch tomorrow. Why don't you prep yourself a lunch for tomorrow? And that way, you know for sure you're going to have a healthy lunch tomorrow. I hope I can wake up on time tomorrow. Why don't you take your ass to bed on time tonight? And chances are you're going to wake up just on time tomorrow. So having certain hope for things is completely unreasonable. And a lot of times, again, having hope just breaks our dreams every single time. So remove hope from your journey, or as I heard before, hope for sunshine, prepare for rain. That is a reasonable approach. And the last thing that I wanted to mention, last mistake, is we are really, really great story writers. Our entire life, And our beliefs are based on the story that we continuously create in our heads. Starting from morning, you wake up and thoughts go through your head, and you think and you think and you think. And without even understanding it, without even realizing, pretty much all we do is we're creating different stories in our head, thinking about future, thinking about past. A lot of times we reflect on the past and we start to rewrite a story. What if? What if I had done something differently? What if they said something different? What if we didn't have global pandemic? And so the thing is that about the past, it doesn't matter because whatever happened happened, and there's nothing that you can do about it. So past needs to stay in the past. In my private practice, again, just this last week, we actually talked about acceptance, and we had about an hour long call talking about acceptance. And basically the idea about acceptance is that you recognize it, you observe the event, you accept that it happened, and you move on. So you don't have to erase it from your memory because it's pretty much impossible. However, you can learn how to be able to observe it without having to act on it. So that's acceptance. And once you start to accept certain events, you don't have to write stories based on those events because those events don't define you. And those events have nothing to do with everything that you are doing right now, because with every single decision that you make throughout the day, you are creating your future. And again, the same applies to your future. We can combine the expectations and hopes, and you can see probably at this point that if your expectations are unreasonable and you have too much hope, then you are writing the story about your future that when you get there, none of that is happening. And every single time you're 100% disappointed. So instead of writing stories like that based on your expectations and your hopes, everything that we can do is making sure that we're paying attention to what we're paying attention to, which is everything that is around you right now, which is called being mindful, right? So being mindful is paying attention to everything that you have in your life right now, and things that you can do, actions that you can take so that you can continue to create the future that you want to live. So when we're talking about specific like weight loss in particular, is a lot of times we hope we can lose 60 pounds this year. Our expectation is that we're going to lose 60 pounds this year. However, because we're writing that story without taking any action, none of that is going to happen. So you're going to be disappointed time after time after time. And then once you get to the end of your life, you look back and you're like, well, what happened to me? You're full of regrets because everything that you have been doing your whole life, you have been expecting and you have been hoping, but you haven't been acting. And so to avoid all of this disappointment and um, to start to create that future, is you need to understand that things that you're doing today, that's what matters. Not what you're going to do on Monday, not what you're going to do tomorrow, not what you're going to do this evening, right now. What is it that you are doing right now that is contributing to the future that you want to live? And understand that when you get to that future, again, that's going to be in the now. And as long as you learn how to live in the now, right this second, your life is going to continue to become better and better and better, because you will start realizing that it doesn't matter what you hope for tomorrow. It doesn't matter what you expect from tomorrow. Really, the story is being written right now, and you are doing it right now by your thoughts and by your choices, and your choices are based on your thoughts. And a lot of times what happens is we allow ourselves to make choices based on our feelings. And I think it's just very important to understand that feelings, they come and go, and they're not bad or good, but not all feelings need to be acted on immediately. So just keep that in mind. A lot of times we get inspired and we start hoping. A lot of times we get inspired and we start making expectations. But you need to go back to that story writing that you're writing about today versus the story that you're writing about tomorrow. because today is going to lead to tomorrow, and it's going to become today again. Well, I hope, again, I hope with this particular topic, I hope that you start thinking about it, and this will lead you to an exciting day and to some conclusions that you can make about yourselves, that you can start making changes today that will lead you to an exciting tomorrow. I will talk to you guys later.